Hi everyone. So this is Pamela from Animal Justice Emergency, and today I wanted to share about the jail sentences that the protesters from Insulate Britain have just got, what that means for vegans and activism, and unicorn cooks. So the jail sentences of Insulate Britain. So these are people that were innocently sort of sitting in the middle of roads, attempting to persuade, force, get the UK government to insulate the houses of the poorest people as a hedge, as it were, against catastrophic climate breakdown. Because many people die in the UK every year because they can't afford heating, and the heating prices have just been hiked up. So this was kind of, direct action. It was a little bit more direct than a lot of action that people are taking, and it was very consistent. And handily, just after the COP has finished, the government has then speed trialed these people, and they've been sentenced to between 4 and 6 months jail time. Now, that is, that's the repressive UK government kind of like feeling its strength. But what is the implications for animal activism of this? I was struck by reading the comments about these sentences, the same level of real hostility and animosity and personal attacks against the Insulate Britain people, who at the end of the day are sincerely trying to make the world a better place, who are genuinely concerned about the colossal government inaction on catastrophic climate breakdown and trying to do something about it. And yes, some people that are driving around in their cars were inconvenienced, but hey ho, that can happen all the time and does happen all the time. But the level of hostility in the comments, I think, was exactly like really the hostility that a lot of vegan activists get on a one-to-one basis, or when you see something about vegans in the media. It was that same really nasty, unpleasant, hostile, and massively incorrectly informed, just plain wrong a lot of the time. And I thought this is interesting because it shows what it's not just us as vegans when we come up against the dominant culture. It's other progressive groups. And one woman was described in the Daily Mail, lovely, as an eco-zealot. Now, this woman has been sentenced to 4 months, and she is going to go on hunger strike. And what are the images that are conjured up by an eco-zealot? Well, it's basically some kind of like fanatical nut job, isn't it? Oh, it's a bit like when people talk about vegans, how we're extreme, how we're preachy, how we're, bad people. And I thought this kind of pushback from basically the people that benefit from the dominant culture is quite interesting to see, because it has to be the ones that benefit from the dominant culture that are pushing back as strongly as they can. And I had a similar experience, a personal experience, with the whole Animals Cafe thing recently. I went to a community cafe near me, which sells lovely vegan food and some vegetarian food, and was asking the person that runs that, maybe they could help with the cook situation or any general tips for running a community cafe. And it was one of those things where the person seems a bit like off, but you don't really understand what's happened until afterwards when all becomes suddenly clear. So she made it clear from the outset that she was not vegan. Okay. Okay, what can I do about that? Um, and that she had a lot of friends that were Cornish sheep farmers. And then you kind of get this sense that, oh, crumbs, how well is this conversation going to go? Because I'm not trying to persuade the woman to go vegan. I'm asking the woman for her help and expertise. Okay. Right. So first of all, she was saying, was I one of those vegans that say that, like fake meat is the way forward? And I said, well, not really. It's not something that I kind of particularly buy into. And then she kind of went into this whole sort of like, she has, lots of connections with these Cornish sheep farmers and how much you know what's coming, don't you? How much they love their sheep. And the sheep have the best life ever until the day they're killed. Yes, Bob, that's exactly right. So, but the bit that absolutely finished me off was she said, and they taste delicious. And I couldn't work out why I found that so disturbing until later. But I remembered a time that I'd been talking to or at a massive sort of event at Bath University. There was another woman there who was sort of like representing, I think, sheep farmers. And she had used exactly the same phrase. And, the sheep had these lovely lives and they taste delicious, with this real sort of smirky, no, 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 vegan sort of like attitude. So I was trying to figure this one out, feeling a bit glum, quite frankly. And then I had a conversation with another vegan about this, and she said, well, why are people like this? All we're trying to do is like, it's all about compassion and justice and that sort of stuff. And the fact that she'd asked me this made me think about it more. Why do people respond like this? And guess what? Hey ho, it's the dominant culture cracking into action again from the people that actually benefit from it. It's exactly that level of vitriolic hostility because they can't actually say, I benefit from the status quo. They won't enter into an honest argument or discussion about it. No, they just want to score points. I mean, I was telling this woman, the community cafe woman, about the Joseph Poor article for meta-analysis published in The Guardian, I think 2018. Eating meat and dairy is the best way to stop catastrophic climate breakdown. And it was, literally, it was like, nobody's home, nobody's home, nobody's home, nobody's home. Again, you just think, we've got 3 to 4 years in terms of catastrophic climate breakdown in order to get our act seriously together, which is clearly going to involve massive changes in everything that we do, including the animal industrial complex, the animal death industry. But you still get this rubbish coming up from people who know Cornish farmers. I mean, people can farm other things in Cornwall, can't they? I mean, they can do other things. And since when is it's my job? Well, that's like, oh, it's my job. I was only following orders. That is not a sufficient argument, is it? I don't think so. So I didn't get really much help with the whole sort of like cook/chef situation, which is still continuing to be a bit of a thing. Because apparently people that know more about this stuff than I do, somebody that works from another completely different community project, and somebody else who's starting up her own vegan fair, where I'll be on Sunday at my little table. They both said spontaneously in chats that I had with them, oh, well, yes, there's a shortage of people in catering because of COVID. And I just thought, oh, well, that's probably why I'm having this situation with the unicorn cooks, aren't you? The cooks who are more like unicorns than cooks. And they keep on appearing and then disappearing. And then they appear and then they just disappear again. And it's like, I don't know. So, if you know anybody that would like to do some cooking for 20 to 30 people on a paid for basis at a pop up cafe. Once or twice or possibly 3 times. I'm still trying to get the actual budget out of the person that's going to shovel the funds in my direction. Please get in touch in the comments, and I'd love to hear anyway what you think of this voyage into the dominant culture and the complete irrationality of people. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the irrationality of people when they're benefiting and they don't want to change. And it's so entrenched. That's the horrific thing. So thanks for your time and attention. If you feel like sharing this, if you feel like liking, if you feel like commenting, I would love to hear from you. You take care. This is Pamela from Animal Justice Emergency. Stay strong.